Good morning, MACPA. I see our counts jumping up, so I'll wait a second and get everyone on. Happy July. Happy new fiscal year to MACPA. Excited to be with you all this morning. We had a wonderful time back in June at our June town hall slash annual meeting slash celebrate event. It was great to be in person doing one of these town halls, and thanks to everybody that came out. I see our numbers continue to creep up. I'll wait just a second, but then I'll move us to, of course, where we start every town hall with our Conferences IO polling, getting to see, first and foremost, um, the good news, hearing from you all what's going on, how we can start our day, since it's morning, but start any kind of a meeting with some positive focus. Um, so I'll move us to that and we'll start seeing some of these fun, good news. Someone is retiring soon. Congratulations. Somebody has a beautiful, healthy new granddaughter. I know one member that could be true of. So, Karen, if you are on, congratulations again. If that is Karen, somebody has a new grandson as well. Congratulations. Vacation in a week. Um, Retired and beaching it. I love it. Just had a birthday, got promoted. Somebody's granddog is visiting. Well, that's fun. Going on a safari this fall. Wow, that's awesome. Really, really cool. Actually, I think I might know who that is too, based on a a call I was on yesterday with someone. It's not raining. It is not raining. It's been a little cooler, not necessarily cool. The humidity has been better this week. Let's say that. I've even enjoyed um, working on the porch a couple days this week. So crab feast, headed to college soon. Son heading to college soon. Just relocated to Arizona and working remote 80%. Wow. Arizona in July. I've done that once, or actually twice, and it was very, very hot. So, but I'm sure this winter you will be much appreciating that. I'll keep us moving and see where everybody is joining us from in terms of the type of work that they do in our great profession. One of the things I love most about this profession is just the variety of roles and companies that you can work in. Our retired members, glad that you continue to be part of the MACPA and continue to engage with us. Grateful for you all. Our nonprofit, it's a pretty good percentage, 13%. Public accounting, 25%. Public company 9, private company 21. So we have a pretty good mix. I would say education, 4%. Interesting. I guess maybe some of our professors, maybe town halls don't work with their teaching schedule during the year, but in July they do. So glad to have you on with us. I'll keep us moving and we'll see your position or level at work. I always am grateful for just the high level of professionals that we have engaged in MACPA, the amount of insight and wisdom that we have, but also encourage you to always bring along the next generation, invite them to participate, invite them to be a part of these town halls, really trying to create the next generation of leaders in our profession, but grateful for your participation. And then let's see our challenges. If you were with us last month in June, I kind of did a summary of the last year's results of these challenges and how we saw things kind of shift halfway through the year from being a lot more priority or in the internal challenges, things like staffing and culture, and a little bit more shift to some of the external things with, of course, the regulatory complexity that we're seeing and some of the financial uncertainty as well. We'll see how this shakes out. Moving a little bit still. Of course, you can pick your top three. And it looks like it has slowed down. So economic uncertainty and volatility, certainly still very much top of mind. And of course, because you can pick three, that's not just saying 12% of our members. It's a little bit hard to read that way, but finding talent is tied, and need for new skills, upskilling and reskilling, complexity and certainty on regulatory, certainly, and then Gen AI at number five there, which you're in the right place because that need for new skills, upskilling and reskilling, and Gen AI is all about what we're doing today, and also that next one, that number six, innovation and growth. I'll keep us moving and seeing if we had others. Tax law changes, tax law changes. Yes, yes, and yes. Certainly part of what we're dealing with right now. Um, Getting IRS and Maryland notice resolved in any kind of sort of timely fashion. Yes. I know a lot of changes and details and complexities, especially for our tax comptroller. Yes, I know we're working that tech or IT tech tax went into effect on July 1st, and I know we're working with the comptroller's office for some guidance. They have the emergency regulations out now, but continuing to monitor and work closely. There is a webinar coming up that we posted about, I think, in our Tax Connect, as well as in our newsletter last week with the comptroller's office. So stay on top of that. And with that, I want to bring in our sponsor for this morning's town hall, somebody that's probably very familiar to you all, our friend Robert Albertini with Aon. So I'm going to turn it over to Robert.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Thank you for the opportunity again, getting in front of you guys. Hello, Maryland, MACPA members, AICPA members. Welcome to the town hall. Sounds like it's going to be an interesting subject here. AI, if it's not going to be changing the way you do business in the next few years, if not already. So we've been finding a lot of firms taking some AI or having some AI challenges at this present time. So I'm here to tell you a little about Aon, AICP insurance programs, and what we do for our clients, what we provide to our clients. And besides being a robust platform for insurance, we still like to think of it as we're here for the moments that matter the most in a CPA's life and their journey. And the most important, like top of the mind, things of insurance products that CPAs would need, whether it's CPA life, like Rebecca mentioned, or professional in your business. We have a website that you can go to and you can peruse through the details. And when you get a moment or get a chance after this or during the break, maybe you can do that at www.cpai.com. You'll be surprised at some of the offerings that we're able to provide you. And I'm on it right now, and like we give assistance for CPA life insurance or disability or professional liability. But you can pick and choose the plan that you're interested in, whether it's business insurance product to cover your business for fire or theft, that kind of thing. But we also have educational resources on there. Like I had a client yesterday call me regarding a divorce client, and he didn't know what to do, and I referred him over to our website where we had the JOA letter on that. And believe it or not, he was pretty surprised, and I referred him over to our risk team to help him. But we only deal with A-rated companies, which is great. And it's you want to be globally recognized by some of these carriers because they want to give you the competitive edge. But one thing I do like about our website, if you have a chance to get on there, right in the middle there, we give you engagement letter assistance and guidance, okay? And also on the life side, they give you like a life insurance estimator. And one thing that comes out monthly is our CPA risk report, which is really helpful. So I know there's a lot of firms going through acquisition and merger challenges, and you're planning on that. We have a journal of accountancy letter on there to help you. Also, some information regarding long-term disability. Or how about this? How to protect your wine collection, because I know tax season is really a hard time for you. And I know some of us like to have a drink after tax season or after a long day. I mean, maybe you just have a couple bottles, but we're on there to help you how to protect your wine. There's an article on that, believe it or not. So, so yeah, there's a lot of information on here. If you get a chance, it's www.cpai.com. I'm always on there assisting our clients, but if you get a moment to review it, that's great. I just wanted to point out our website. But in conclusion, the relationship between, right, Rebecca, between Aon and the MACPA is a powerful alliance that we bring together industry leading expertise and resources to you. If you get a chance to contact us if you have any questions, but we're committed to help you. We have a great team. We're always helping CPAs navigate through some of the complexities of risk management and insurance. I encourage you to explore those options. And if there's any questions, I can always help you. So my number's on the screen. Thank you very much, everyone, and look forward to working with you all.
Thank you so much, Robert. Yep, our partnership with Aon goes back decades, and grateful for your resources, your wonderful insurance products, and just insights that you share with our members each year. So, thank you, Robert, for being here. And with that, I wanted to kind of set some context for what we're going to do today. So we started back last summer, it was probably around this time last summer, talking about how can we bring practical, hands-on AI learning to our members. And I had moderated actually a panel at AICPA's Women's Summit the previous fall and met some really interesting people and what they were doing with AI. And I thought we got to figure out something for our members. And so we started working with Byron Patrick and Twyla Verhulst in co-creating a program. And that pilot program kicked off that August, I want to say, into September. Maybe it was in September when it actually started meeting. But three people that were part of that are on our town hall this morning to say what they learned and in a real practical way share what they are doing with AI. Sometimes I think AI presentations are just meant to scare or to just blow your mind in what's possible, but then you just have to go back to your day-to-day work because it doesn't really fit in. And so we really wanted to have a practical application of what are these things that people are actually doing, our actual members doing with AI. And so that cohort or that pilot program has morphed over the last year. Excited that we actually have an on-demand version of the AI Foundations class and now AI Impact, which is the cohort style learning that's kind of the more advanced. But I want to introduce three superstar MACPA members. All of them have been board members for the MACPA. All of them are great friends of this profession, great leaders in our profession. And if you follow them on LinkedIn, you will learn a whole lot just by what they post and share about what they're doing. But of course, each one of them has a unique application of how they're using AI. So I wanted to have them actually do most of this presentation today to share with you. So we have Samantha Bowling, partner at GW CPAs. We have Barrett Young, also partner at GW CPAs, and Tim Samuel, CFO of Bridgeway Community Church. So you're going to hear from both a firm perspective and a more corporate finance nonprofit, of course, perspective as well. And so with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to invite, I think Samantha is going to share first about what they've been able to do at GW CPAs.
Thank you, Becca. Okay, so I want to talk about what I was doing. You guys know, if you know me, you know I've been using AI since 2018 in audit. So it wasn't generative AI, but it was AI. So before I took the course and was on the pilot program, what I was doing was really searching around ChatGPT by myself, trying to figure out how can I use this tool to make things better for me. And the first thing I did was, this is ChatGPT, if anybody does not know what this is. And on the left-hand side, this is a project. So usually I would just start with a chat down here because back then they didn't have projects, but now they have projects. So what I would do is create a project. And if it was something that I was just going to use internally for myself. So everyone knows we have our new quality management standard that we have to apply beginning in 2026. So I was like, well, how am I going to use ChatGPT to solve this problem for me? So what I did first was say, okay, I'm going to create this project and then I'm going to upload files here. So if you click here, you can upload whatever files you want. And what I uploaded was our old quality control document and then the new standard. So those are all the files that I uploaded. And then I gave it instructions. I said, there's going to be a new quality control standard coming out. I need you to help me create my new quality control manual. And I thought, well, I don't know how powerful this is going to be, but we'll see what happens. So, and you're going to see me copy and paste things here because I created my prompts ahead of time. So you don't have to watch me type and misspell things. I only have 10 minutes to go through this. So I copied these prompts and put this into my project. And I said, let's do this. And as you'll see, it's thinking, and what it's doing right now is it's referencing all the documents I put up there. It's referencing our old quality control document, and it's telling me what the major changes are to that standard and what I would need to do differently based on the new standards that are coming out. So this just gave me an overview of what I needed to do, what I needed to consider in my new document. And then the next step, it says, well, let's create this document and what would it look like? So I'm not going to go through that process here, but I actually used this project to create our new quality control document, which I thought would take us, 6 months, 12 months to get done as a small firm. And it actually probably only took me about 2 hours to come up with the complete final document and the steps I needed to do. So that's one scenario. So this is me stumbling around, not only what I'm doing in ChatGPT and just trying to solve something. The next thing I did, I said, well, this helped me do this. I bet it could help me create our SOPs. So as I became the managing partner, I wasn't really sure. As we know, we never have, as a small firm, we never have a written policies and procedures. So I said, let's have everybody use ChatGPT. So we gave ChatGPT to everyone in the office and we did a paid subscription. We would never use anything that's free because we want the security that's built into the technology. We also want to make sure we have SOC reports that supports whatever technology we're using, as well as we don't want it sharing our stuff with anybody else. So everyone got their own ChatGPT based on their department. So someone in HR got their bot, technology got their bot, and everybody. I said, I need you to use these bots to create your SOPs. And that's what they did. So they created all their SOPs. And of course, you can imagine how different all of those looked. They looked totally different. The language was different. The formatting was different. It was driving me insane. So what I did with my bot was take all of those SOPs and reformat it and make it speak the same language, look the same way, and then put them into this document. So this, as you can see, this document here is 106 pages, but really, if you go through the document, which I won't bore you with that, but if you go through the document, there's additional external links to other handbooks that are in here. So really, this is about 900 pages of stuff that was done. I thought this was going to take me my entire rest of my career to get these SOPs done. And we started this and we got it all done and updated probably in less than 6 months. So this, to me, was transformational because everybody's like, oh my gosh, we have SOPs. We know what we're supposed to be doing. But when I gave this 1,000-page document to my team, you can imagine they were like, what the hell is this? Like, thank you, but no thank you, right? Nobody wants to do that. And I'm like, well, then I took the course for the MACPA, and that's where I learned about custom ChatGPTs. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I mean, I was so excited about the first course. I said, oh my gosh, I could actually create a custom ChatGPT that would analyze all our SOPs. So if somebody had a question, they wouldn't have to read any of the documents. They would just have to go to the custom ChatGPT and ask their question. So this is what we did. So this is our SOP Navigator with Scout. So you can share this custom ChatGPT, and I'll show you how this is set up. So if I go into edit the ChatGPT, you'll see I named it here. I told it what it was going to do. I gave it specific instructions that it's only allowed to look at these documents. It's not allowed to go to the internet because, as you know, ChatGPT will make stuff up if it doesn't know the answer. So I told it can't do that. It has to only reference the documents I put in here. And then I also turned off the web search. So it can't search on the web. It can only search with what I've uploaded in here so that I know that this ChatGPT is giving the right answers. And then you can create a custom questions in here. And I thought, what do most people struggle with at our firm? And we've learned a lot over the last year, but like one great thing is what are this, not only about the processes and how we do stuff, but answering questions for new team members who don't know how to do something. So the one thing that people do struggle with is converting, a trial balance from accrual basis to cash basis. So I created a video about that and the procedure for that. And so I put that in here. So if that's a question that people have a problem with, it'll give them the answer and actually give them the steps. So I taught this ChatGPT to say, hey, I'm Scout. How can I help you? And then it gives you the answer. And what are the steps that you have to do to convert an accrual trial balance to a cash basis trial balance? Now, this is a very sophisticated question. So, but most people, when they go on their chat, when they get hired, they're like, the first question is, when do I get paid? And you don't have to spell right or put question marks. It knows that. So anything related to our SOPs that's in there. And if it doesn't know the answer, it's prompted to say, well, that information is not available right now. See your firm administrator or whatever that is. So it tells us how often we get paid, when the pay date falls on, anything about the company that's in that SOP or the documents attached to the SOP are answered in there. And now for me, this has been great because if someone says, like, how do I do this? Or where do I go for this? Or who do I talk to about this? Well, I say, have you asked Scout? Instead of asking me a million questions or asking the manager a million questions, they can go to the ChatGPT and say, let me ask this question. If they don't get a good enough answer, then they can say, who do I go to for more information? So this is all how we did that. Another thing that people ask is like, what are the roles for accounting? So of course we built out all of our roles into our SOPs and what their jobs are. So it'll tell you what our detailed roles is. If you're an accounting manager, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Or what about how do we process 1040s? So they'll tell you exactly what we do and what software we use to do 1040s and how we get it through our entire office. They'll go through every step that you need to do and who's responsible for what. So this was for me, the most transformative thing that helped us. One, we created our SOPs and we created a custom ChatGPT to support those SOPs. The other area that we've used custom ChatGPTs is in engagement letters. So we're always struggling with like, what do we include in an engagement letter? We go to multiple sources. We always go to, Camico, our professional liability. We go to the AICPA. We go to the MACPA, and we go to our internal documents on engagement letters. So you can see if I go into this ChatGPT to see how I created that. I said these are our engagement letters. We need to design these engagement letters around the services we provide, and then this area here is just these questions here that most people ask. I put them on the top. So and then it gives us all the examples of what we would do. And those are the files that I uploaded. So it would be very easy for someone to say, like, well, how do I terminate a client? Like, I mean, we don't like to terminate clients, but we do need to terminate them sometime. And most people don't know how to do that. So if I say, how do I terminate a client? It'll go into its knowledge. It'll look at our liability insurance recommendations of what we should do and what's required to happen and give them the steps to do that and who they need to contact if they're not sure who the person is to support them on that. So when I was asked to do this, and I knew this was a really fast overview about AI and how we use it at GW, and Barrett's going to come on next to talk about what he's done with it. I would say I use ChatGPT every day, and I can't think of something that I don't use it for. So if that gives you any indication of what you should be doing, if you're not using it, it's really my best friend. And it sounds really crazy to say that a bot is my best friend, but it's the personal assistant that I've never had that is available to me 24/7 whenever I need to talk to them. Yes, talk, I say speak, talk to them, or actually just type conversations. So I'm going to end with that and turn that over to Barrett now.
Thanks so much, Sam. And I do see questions popping into the Conferences.io. We're going to answer questions at the end. But certainly thank you, Sam, for sharing. And Barrett, take it away.
Yeah, sure. Actually, I see the question that's in Conferences.io, and that was the first thing I was going to cover with my presentation also. Sam did talk about it, a paid plan. For one, if you have more than one person on a team, a paid plan allows you to consolidate the billing, allows you to assign those user roles to different people, say what they're able to do. For custom GPTs, for chats, it allows you to set it so that nobody can share a conversation outside of your organization. So that's what a paid plan does enable. But Sam and I were both on paid plans long before we rolled this out to our team. We had found out we had both had a paid subscription for about 6 months to 8 months before we even started talking to each other about how we were using it. And then within a month of finding out we were both using it professionally already, we said we need to roll this out to our entire team. And that was about a year and a half ago that we did that. A paid plan, I think, is like $30 a month, but it gives you the SOC 2 Type 2 reporting that's at the same standard as our tax preparation software, QuickBooks Online, any other software that you're using out there is going to have that same level of security as ChatGPT paid plans specifically. There's a lot of AI models out there. We are primarily talking about ChatGPT. I want to be clear about that too. The other important thing, Sam did mention it. You'll see down here at the bottom, it says OpenAI doesn't use GWCPA to train its models. That's the other thing that comes with a paid plan is we are using our own prompts internally to GWCPA, and their terms and conditions do not allow them to scrape our prompts to better improve their public-facing models that anybody can use. And so that's one of the other benefits that we get from a paid plan with ChatGPT. I want to take a little bit of a higher level. I don't want to scare people. I do understand that that's very real, but I'm very much a visual, oh, I didn't realize it could do that kind of learner. And so when I see somebody doing something at a higher level, it causes me to go Google it, causes me to go watch YouTube videos to figure out how I could do that as well. So I wanted to go there just a little bit. Everything that I'm sharing today is going to be built around either projects or custom GPTs because I feel like that's really the powerful unlock that the three of us got from that course that we attended a year ago. Like Sam said, I'd been using ChatGPT for about a year and a half at that point. I actually started because I'm a game master in a role-playing game. So I have to come up with monthly encounters for my friends to encounter bad guys and weird events and stuff like that to give them excitement at the table. And that's how I got started using it. I just saw it in a Facebook group and I'm like, oh, it could create an entire background for a character and stats and everything. So I started off very personal with ChatGPT, but I got used to it and I started using it on a regular basis. One of the first things that I did when I got into professional use is this firm communicator. So custom GPTs allow you to repeat without having to retype the same prompts every single time, which is what Sam had been doing, which is what I'd been doing up to this point, is typing all the stuff in, setting up a prompt with like 2 paragraphs worth of text, and then finally getting to the question of what I was asking ChatGPT to do. A custom GPT gives you a place to go to every single time, and it's already set up for that. So all I have to do is say, how do I approach this? So one of the first custom GPTs I built for that course a year ago was, I call it the Firm Communicator. It's a communicator for my firm communications, but it's also a firm communicator. It doesn't waver, it doesn't back down. It's firm yet professional. And I built a simple email rewriter. So I would write the email that I want to write to the client, and then I would cut and paste that email into here, and it would rewrite it so that I don't make any bad mistakes by getting angry. So that was one of the first uses that I found for a custom GPT. I've since moved beyond that. I'm also the marketing partner at GWCPA, and it's very easy to say, oh, wow, I can create entire LinkedIn posts. I can create entire video scripts. I can do everything that I need to do with just a couple clicks of the button. What's really been helpful for me as a professional who's working alongside AI, not replacing myself with AI, is finding ways that AI can make me better at the things that I'm already good at. And this is where I think that CPAs are going to have an advantage in the future, because if there is AI that's going to do the jobs that CPAs do, we are going to be the ones that are going to get the most maximum benefit from that, because we know what good looks like. It's like that model of, if you want to know what counterfeit money looks like, study what real money looks like, and then you're easily able to see the difference. We know what a tax return looks like when it's crap. We know what a tax return looks like when it's quality. And so we are going to be able to get the best results out of AI at a time when AI is creating the tax returns. And so I approach that same method with writing now. I don't have it rewrite entire posts. I have it take a paragraph and I say, this is my hook, rewrite my hook. Or here's the hook that I've come up with. What are 2 improvements that you would make on this hook to make it more powerful and more thought-provoking? Here's my call to action at the end of the post. How can I punch this up? Using it on specific pieces of writing. As I become a better writer, it's augmenting that and helping me see the things that I'm not seeing. Same with tax reviews. One of my favorite questions, tax reviews, book, month-end reviews, different things like that. One of my favorite questions to ask ChatGPT is, what am I missing here? And so I will do my analysis and I will review the tax return. And I will say we have personally at our firm come to a security level, comfort level with security that you need to come to at your own firm and on your own your own situation, where we are putting client documents into ChatGPT because of the security that we trust there. And that's all documented on our website as well. But I will come to the point where I've reviewed it and then I will put the reviewed tax return in there and say, did I miss anything? And it will scan and look and see, was there anything that I missed? And sometimes it can be something very obvious. Sometimes it's something that I just completely missed. Becoming better at what I'm already good at. That's how we do this. I want to share this. This was really cool. I just did this a month ago, and this was the first time I ever used ChatGPT to help me write formulas in Excel. So I wanted to do a rolling 12 forecast within an Excel sheet. And a rolling 12 forecast, if you're not clear, is 12 months of like cash balance or 12 months of revenue. And as June enters the chat, the previous June exits. And so it's just always looking back 12 months at a time. And it's much better than like a year to date because it's always smoothing out. You're always looking at 12 months of information. You're just treating it like you've got 12 year ends throughout the year. That's not easy to set up in Excel by default if you're just going to do like sum and then do a graph based on that, because you have to continually move your anchor points. And so I wanted to have ChatGPT help me with the formula for this. So I typed in what it did. It gave me different, it gave me the offset formula. It gave me the count A. So what it's doing is it's counting, because I also don't want to have to insert cells and shift the whole thing every single month in order to get this to work. So it used count A to figure out how many cells there are as I'm just concatenating them on to the end of the Excel sheet at the end of each month. And so it's saying, okay, there are 37 rows here. Okay, from that 37, now subtract 12 from that and take the sum of those final 12 rows from the right-hand side, which is really cool, advanced, like not super advanced Excel stuff, but it is like nested formulas within Excel. So I'm putting this in here and I'm learning how it's working and making sure, double checking it. And then I was running into errors. And so I'm screen capturing the errors and I'm uploading the screen capture into chat and saying, what's the issue here? And then I found out that was user error. Chat was doing everything right. I'm asking it to write Excel formulas, but I'm actually testing it in Google Sheets. And Google Sheets has slightly different syntax from Excel. And so once I explained that to it, then it was able to figure it all out. And so that was really a cool use case. Again, using ChatGPT to get better at something that we are already good at, that is already part of our professional, our professional library of knowledge. All right. And then one other cool thing I did a couple months ago, taking a PDF of a bank statement. You throw that into ChatGPT and it can extract the CSV of all the transactions. So if you are like me, you grew up taking a credit card statement and manually punching every single transaction from that statement into QuickBooks Desktop, you can now just extract this stuff. I know there are tools that'll do that for paid, some are even included, but ChatGPT can do it for free. Different things like that for just tiny task automations. What we're looking for is just repeatable tasks that save us minutes on a monthly basis, and that stuff stacks up. But the bigger benefit to you, even if you can't say, well, I've saved 200 minutes from automating 60 tasks over the past month, it's the daily practice of it where you're really going to see the biggest benefit. because you're not going to say, oh, well, my billable rate is this, and I save 200 minutes an hour or a month and all this kind of stuff. You're going to say, by using this and relying on this on a daily basis, I have now grown in my understanding of what's going on, my ability to get the best information from it. And that comes from the knowledge capture. That comes from using it to to make you better at what you're already good at. I wanted to share, after the course, when learning how to do custom GPT, I'm also the marketing partner, like I said, and we packaged our knowledge. So GWCPA, we focus on succession planning for multi-generational businesses. That's our core audience. We tested something and we said, what if we could package our approach to tax and succession planning and put it into a custom GPT and give it away to our audience? And we actually did that last December. And that's hosted on our website. You go to our GPT, which is linked down at the bottom of our website, and you sign up for the mailing list, and you get a link to our Generation 1 custom GPT. And like Sam said, I'm using this at 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes asking it questions. I'm not waking up my wife this way. I get to ask it questions and brainstorm when my head is spinning with ideas. So we wanted to give this to our clients. They obviously shouldn't be emailing us at 2 o'clock in the morning. They have questions about their own succession journey. And so we put this together. This is currently version 1 of the Generations Advisor. This month, we're releasing Generation 2, which is even more supercharged and has 18 months of content from our YouTube channel, from our podcast, populating the knowledge base for the Generations Advisor. So I've been really excited about that from a marketing perspective. I didn't want to major on that too much because I know most CPAs are not marketing partners at their firm, but that's really what has helped us. Philosophically, Sam and I are asking ourselves, what are we going to do as a CPA firm when the AI actually does the accounting and does the tax returns? And what I've really settled on, we have core values at GWCPA, and those core values are empathy, accountability, empowerment, and foresight. What are we going to do when the AI does the tax return? We are going to provide to our clients empathy, accountability, empowerment, and foresight. AI is going to enable us to sell the human traits, and that's what our clients are going to come to us. And so they're going to come to us not because we can do a tax return generated with AI, but because we can do a tax return with a tone of voice of empathy, accountability, empowerment, and foresight in their situation. Real human beings connecting with real humans that are scared that this business that they've been running for 40 years is going to collapse as soon as they pass it off to their 45-year-old kid who's next in line. And that is what we can continue to provide in the future. Just a little plug here, that can't be billed by the hour, so you've got to change your business model as well. 5 quick tips, and then I'll pass it off to Tim. You have to get started with using this every single day. That is the number one key that I say to learning ChatGPT or AI is you have got to be in it on a regular basis. Every single thing, like Sam said, how can I throw this into AI and improve it? I have custom GPTs for plant identification right now. Like I said, I was generating bad guys. I'm doing rewriting emails and blog posts and things like that. Talk to it, use advanced voice if that's the best way for you to communicate. Use text if it's better for you to do it at 2 o'clock in the morning and not wake anybody up, or take pictures and throw the picture in there and ask it to identify things. Whatever it gets for you to turn to the app on your phone and say, how can I use AI? Because that's going to help you improve the most. Second, start with something small, professional, like I said, like rewriting the tone of voice on your emails. I know a lot of things like Outlook and Gemini and things will do that already, built into different platforms. LinkedIn always wants to make you use AI to generate your posts, but consistency across a custom GPT will help you build what your firm sounds like, and it'll be consistent across all the different models, regardless of what platforms, what models they have built in there. Third thing, record your meetings. If you use Zoom and you meet with clients, use the Zoom companion, AI companion. That will give you a transcript of all that content. That's a ton of knowledge that is being lost currently by not recording your meetings that you can then aggregate and anonymize in order to create knowledge bases for your firm. If you do a lot of in-person meetings, look into apps like Fireflies or Otter AI in order to record those meetings in person and capture the same information. Even if you don't start using it immediately, eventually a year from now, you'll have hundreds of meetings recorded and information there that you can use in the future. Start your first project. So Sam already talked through that. A project just means it's personal to you. I like projects also because it does nest all of the information. All of the threads are going to be contained within that project. So that's your fourth takeaway. Start a project and start to figure out how to use it. And then the fifth thing, if you have not done this yet, this has been around for about 2 months. This is called deep research. And deep research is going to take about 10 minutes to run. You're going to give it a prompt. I'm talking something like, so I did a deep research on a survey that we want to run on our website. And I said, give me all of the survey methodology and the statistics needed in order to get an accurate data sample and everything like this. Put those prompts in and then cut ChatGPT loose with that. It's going to ask some follow-up questions, but then it's going to surf the web and you're actually going to be able to see it think through all of the different aspects of what you've asked it to come back with. And it's going to come back with like an 8 to 10 page paper that's really going to knock your socks off when you read this thing. So you get 10 of those included for free per month with a paid subscription. And I would say use all 10 of those and just get used to it. Even if it's something like, should I install a fiberglass pool or a plaster pool in my backyard? Throw it into deep research, just get used to seeing it work through different problems. I know I went over, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Barrett. Fascinating. Yeah, so many good insights and things that we can do and try. And I love that. Just start using it. That's really the biggest trick for people that are kind of overwhelmed by it, I think. Tim, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm really excited to be here. I was just reflecting kind of my journey of technology, and it actually took me back to the studying for the CPA exam. Was at the same time Facebook launched. And I was just blown away that like, hey, who would have thought when I was studying on a CD-ROM on a thick laptop and for the CPA exam that I would be now introducing finance and AI later down the road in my career. So these turns and styles I think many of you probably entered this profession saying, hey, I don't want to be in technology, but unfortunately, there's a collision course heading for us with finance and AI, and I'm hoping we can all enjoy the journey. One of my biggest takeaway, I am the CFO and the CPA at Bridgeway Community Church in Columbia, Maryland for the past 18 years. But one of the outcomes of me taking the class, I actually started a fractional small niche firm to help churches and nonprofit. And so I launched that in December. It's called CFO Creating Future Opportunities, LLC. I have a few clients, one in Minnesota, hopefully one in Pennsylvania soon, and one in Florida. And it's crazy how AI can just help you communicate what you already know, what you already learned, but in a whole new way. And so I'll just walk through some of the GPTs I've created, and I really helped. What Barrett and Samantha shared, I was really jealous. I was like, "Whoa, this is really cool." But now to remind myself, we all had different applications. So mine might be just a slightly more different, but that's why we have diversity in our profession, right? We all see things a little bit differently. So a couple things if we could go, hey, why kind of I like starting with the whys, why AI purpose-driven AI. And so why AI purpose-driven AI, I really feel like especially nonprofits and churches, and even in firms everywhere, we often find ourselves under-resourced, overextended, and lack the time to strategically think. And so if you just think about those things and how AI, so I was like, oftentimes I'm just going from task to task to task. How can I break that model? And AI was one of the biggest way that helped me get out of the mundane and into the strategic, to kind of fulfill my mission to create future opportunities. So one of the things that a key custom GPT, what I really like, really makes it personal to you. You can scale it, and Samantha and Barrett showed how to do that. They shared it with their clients, they shared it with their staff. And it has what's known as natural language understanding, aka you can speak whatever broken English, whatever slang to it. You just speak to it, whether you hit the voice button or whether you type, misspelling and all, and it will understand you at any time of night. Um, it will actually affirm you. There are some, I won't get into kind of some psychological effects I think it will have on society, but it is here. And just yesterday, I received a email from someone who's a little bit older, and they copied and pasted from ChatGPT because I knew because at the bottom of their email there was this long line that said, "Hey, how can I change this?" Or "Do you want me to dive in anymore?" And I was like, "Oof!" But what blew me away is it's even 5 years ago, if I would have said, "Hey, here's a new software. How do I get trained on it?" I don't want to do this. We didn't have to say this person anything, and they're already fully using no training. No, like they were fully putting just their email in and they had a response. So that was just an interesting story of how powerful ChatGPT is. And I think it's because it's the natural language understanding, aka you could speak to it using your own words. I think we already went over this, how to create a GPT. You open up your browser on the left menu, you see GPTs, click that and click create. I think their user interfaces really well. And I'll open this. So the first thing I used it was a job description GPT. I like to say this, I never set out to build AI tools. I set out to solve real world problems for people I care deeply about. And so that's kind of why I went into it. And so if I then go over to the job description GBT, I tried to just already type the prompts, but I could type it live. So I made up a scenario. I have been the controller and an HR manager at Bridgeway. Can you help me brainstorm a job description? So a lot of times we had people filling roles, especially startup nonprofits that just do everything. And so I say, hey, just talk to this GPT. So I created one for Bridgeway Community Church. And it spit out some things. And when I did this in a staff meeting, and when people are like, oh, there's no way I do something specialized, and they start reading the responsibilities, they couldn't believe that this GPT was picking out, oh, I do that, I do that. And yes, the biggest thing I'm gonna hope you guys learn, it's not a copy and paste, right? You have to put this into another document. You have to read it and you have to. So I wouldn't say I'm done, copy, paste, and post, but it's a great starter, like where I don't know where to start. Yeah, I know I need to do a job description, but I got so much work to do. Now I have a draft that I could go through. And one of the cool things about custom GBTs, like we have the ministerial functions if from the church, we have preferred education, skills and competencies, all the things that I told my custom GBT, hey, I want you to put kind of these things in there. I read an article by HRB called The Shadow Job Description. And so on the bottom of it, we say, hey, that's great and formula. But what's the shadow side of it? And so it says, like, let's just read this. Hey, guardian of integrity. You are often the quiet conscience in leadership spaces, making sure what we say publicly aligns and how we treat people and steward resources. That's something you would never find here. So what I loved about this GPT, I found an article and I said, I'm struggling. I really want to do that, but my job description template is a little bit, so how we combine it more. And so that's kind of what the GPT did. And so that's kind of what that is. So as Sam and Barrett showed, you can go in and edit the GPT. Let's see if I edit GPT. Um, and so this is where you give the instructions, that class that you'll learn. They'll teach you a lot of how to put in the right things. And then down here, you can upload kind of, these are the three things that I said, the knowledge source. I actually told it to go out to the World Wide Web. Oh, no, I guess I didn't. I thought I did. But you could say, hey, go search other things to get better things. So this is just, you name it, you write the descriptions, you give it custom instructions, and you go from there. So that's kind of one things that really helped clarify. Sam, Samantha just took it to a no holds brother. She did all her SOPs. I just did one job description builder, but start small, right? And that's encouraging on the journey, right? We stop comparing ourselves to others. I keep on telling that to myself, but if you just start, just the momentum will be there. Another thing I did was I'm a big fan of strength finders. And so I put in our like I asked it, who am I built a GPT for strengths coach for all our supervisors. And so since it has everybody's, I asked, hey, make sure you ask who they're chatting with today. And so Tim Samuel, here's my strengths. And it kind of did some combination of like, try this, invite your colleague into learning together. Want to swap notes or have been working in our teams lately? So there's these couple of tough meetings I have. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna like, I'm always hitting a brick wall. I'm here, you're there, and then I'm like, all right, chat. And so I put it in, and they said, hey, make sure you do the one-on-one. Make sure you call him early. And so I followed that, and he's like, man, this meeting did really well. And I was like, just to be full disclosure, I took your strengths, I talked about in ChatGPT, and he's like, man, that really helped the communication. So just early on the call, I was gonna ask, I asked Barrett for his strengths. As you can see, they are misspelled, and I think I got them all. They're not aligned. And I was like, hey, I want to do a collaboration post on AI with him with LinkedIn. What would it be like? And so I'm just reading it. He's seeing this first time as well. So we have some shared strengths. And let's see what they say. So start with the shared vision. Let's do an idea jam, clarify our message, and then push. So I would then here's a sample outline that we could probably use. I would probably say, hey, give me a lead push to get to Barrett to send on his LinkedIn and see if he's interested. So just like that, literally an idea to action, and that's something that MACPA also taught. Like we have a lot of ideas to how do we move to action. One great thing, if you don't want to use ChatGPT sticky notes, I still believe in that power. But if you combine that with the ChatGPT, your idea could come quickly to action. Another thing I built I call it a budget clean. We were having, I unfortunately I don't have live data that I can show you because it's real client data and I didn't want to put it out. But it went into the memos, it scrubbed certain words, and then I created a pivot table. And so like Barrett was telling me a rolling form. I never heard of a 12-month, what he just said. I never heard some of these formulas in this budget clean. But when you put it in, you're like, wow. And so I'm typing in this X fact. I'm making up words now. X something in Excel, parentheses, and it was working and it cleaned everything up into a pivot table. It showed us what program made the expense, who spent it, what store, so any kind of detail they want. And I created it by just dropping the Excel thing in the budget clean. And thanks for Barrett again for teaching us about SOC 2. So now I have some more confidence that it is securing client data. Another thing, I'm checking my time. Another thing quickly, ChatGPT is this is not GPT. This is another MACPA sponsor, BlueJ. This is great for kind of tax research or like checking if stuff you read a lot on LinkedIn. And so, hey, I heard something about estate and gift tax exemption. And so I asked it and it gave me a good response. You could then even create a memo or create a client email. This is super helpful. Um, I just the one big beautiful bill something I researched. I actually wrote an article on church law and tax. It's a premier kind of publication for churches, and they published it. And it was pretty cool that like, hey, I took 7 points. I looked at this again. This helps you comb through the 1,000-page bill, uh, verify what your clients need, and then go from there. And so there's a expansion on kind of how charitable deductions are happening. There's floors. There's now's not the time to talk about that, but that's there. So last couple of things. I know another bottom line, it builds community. When you learn new stuff, you build community. So Barrett, one of the MACPA chair, created this technology called Verify IQ. Betsy Bookkeepers was a firm in Florida that was helping out, small niche bookkeeping firm. They needed somewhere to help look at their QuickBooks file and help incoming clients. I learned from Barron through the AI Academy. He was the teacher. And so now I connected kind of two organizations together and now they're doing business together. So when you learn new stuff, I think community is created. And that's what I'm passionate about, throwing fire pits. So like I help it like send out fire pit invites. So at the end of the day, have fun, learn some things, and let's create community together through this MACPA, and let's change the world.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the very practical, very technical. We went from Barrett's rolling forecast 12-month and those formulas that definitely brought me back to some school days where when I was in school writing Excel formulas, you had to actually like write it out on the test. I'm like, why are we not doing this in Excel? But I remember having to write out crazy formulas. And then to creating an invite for, a fire pit getting together. The application is very broad and just getting in there and playing with it, seeing what works. My new favorite thing is for some reason all of my pots and pans are not standard sizes. I don't know why. I apparently did a terrible job registering for wedding gifts, but I find these recipes and it says, oh, with an 8 by 10 pan, blah, blah, blah. And so I just take a snapshot of it. I take a picture of the recipe, I put in there and said, I have a this size pan and I actually only have this much milk or change the recipe for me. So that's my new favorite personal use. But we do have some questions in here. The Barrett kind of addressed the premium ChatGPT about keeping your data private and safe. Those are things with the paid subscription and in settings, correct, Barrett? There's settings that you have to turn on and things like that. So make sure that you're doing that correctly. I do know in the AI Foundations course, which is on demand now, there is a whole section on that, how to set up that correctly so that you are saving or not saving that data or you're securing that data. One of the questions, and Tim, you showed a couple different applications there, but was what made you decide on ChatGPT as opposed to other AI programs? I don't know if one of you wants to speak to that first or.
I, oh, I can. Barrett,
Okay.
Barrett and I probably both have answers on that. So we have found that various different chat GPTs or AI, generative AIs have different personalities. Copilot, I feel, is less flexible. Like Copilot will get to the point and says, I've already told you all this stuff. I'm not going to tell you anything else. Basically, we found when we've asked questions like, give me more information, and it keeps giving you the same information over and over again and doesn't let you build on what you're talking about. I find that it was definitely more user friendly. Now we haven't there are so many different variations out there. We have not tested that. So I'll let Barrett speak to that. For me, it's been what is the most easiest to work with and actually gives you the most insightful information to continue to grow your knowledge.
Yeah, I would say to start off with, if you're new to AI, start with the biggest and the best, and that's ChatGPT. Right now, ChatGPT is ahead of everyone else on most tasks. And if you go to ChatGPT's website, they actually just introduced agents in the past week. You can read on the press release. There's benchmarking models out there. These are independent companies that actually test all the AI on various roles. And so whether it's an Excel sheet, or whether it's a Word document or deep research, college level research papers, different things like this. They test all of the models and they benchmark them against each other. And so that's also how you can see the difference on like ChatGPT 4.0 versus 4.5 versus O3 versus deep research. That's all higher than entry level. Entry level, start with ChatGPT. It's secure, it's cheap on a monthly subscription, and you just need to get used to doing it. Once you're into it, then you can test other things like Claude and Gemini and Copilot and things that are built into other platforms. But again, you are going to be comfortable and familiar enough with AI to recognize crap from good quality content. And so I would say for everybody, just get started with the biggest one first. And once you're comfortable with that and want to expand, that's when you can start looking into other models that are out there. But if you just dig in and say, well, I've got 9 different options ahead of me, Google's got one, Words or Microsoft's got one, OpenAI's got one, LinkedIn has one, Facebook has one, where do I get started? You're not going to rely on it every day because you're going to get inconsistent results across using all of these different platforms for what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I took the MACPA course that taught me ChatGPT, so that's why I picked it.
It's a pretty good answer. Yeah. Byron and Twyla, I think started with that one mostly because the same reasons Barrett just talked about. I think it is pretty user friendly and a great tool to get started with. And then from there, you start to understand how things work, and you might find personality wise, like Sam mentioned, a different one works better for you. But I think it's crazy, but there's personalities in them, and things that you can really get to learn. Let's see. Somebody just said, I love the practical usage example. So thank you for letting us know that. I think that was our goal for what we wanted to create for our members in terms of learning, but also for this town hall to really showcase that you can use practical things. And I just want to end by thanking, because I think that answers all the questions. Just thanking you three for sharing, for being the part of that pilot that helped us kind of co-create and morph what we started with what we now have offering to members, and then just being transparent and open to share with your colleagues, all 257 of them today, about what you've learned and how you use it. I think that is the most powerful thing about associations and about the MACPA is the individual members. Technology is phenomenal and you can do all kinds of great things with it. But it's these personal relationships and learning from one another that really set our community and our profession apart. And so thank you all for being willing to be on this with us today. I know we'll have a follow-up email where we'll link to some of the additional resources and things, but I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and week, and hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow at our Foundation Fairway to the Future golf tournament. Looking forward to a hot morning, but really looking forward to the golfers and just raising some good money for our next generation of CPAs. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next month.